Good evening, everyone. This is All the Talk, episode number 16. Today, I have a special guest one more time, someone very, very, very special. I was blessed enough to get that invitation via another episode than I did. Thanks to Carla Perez, I'm very, very pleased today to introduce you to Monsieur Sebastian ZUKO Carrasco. How are you, Sebastian?
Hello, Greg. I'm very good. Thank you for the invitation, for sharing this time. I think more than it's just nice to have a talk with you. Nice meeting you. I'm very happy.
Thank you, Sebastian, to answer on that for that interview on such notice. I know it's a very special period. We're going to go straight up into the mix. I want you guys, we're going to discover Sebastian. I will spend lots of hours with you. I don't know if we'll have enough time to cover everything, but we're going to try, okay?
We'll do our best.
I discover you through the eyes of Carla Perez, who was my guest in episode 14. And doing my research on Carla, I found this amazing trip that she did the year where she's climbing the Everest and the K2. And I found out she's going to do the Kilimanjaro, which I found crazy. And I read a little bit and looked at it, and I saw your name. I saw a man in a wheel trying to climb. So what is that? Tried to look, and I read the story. So we want to start by this, and let's start by how you found yourself at the summit in 2019, which is almost a year now, soon.
It's gonna be a year. It's amazing. It will be a year, the 12th of September of this year. Last year in 2019, we were able to be at the summit of Kilimanjaro, and I say we because I had the opportunity to share that experience with an amazing team, including Carla, including some other amazing people like my friend Jack, my girlfriend was there, Andrea Rocco, my friend Gisela, which was the person that actually called me 2 years ago on October of 2017, and she proposed this idea. And it was funny because when she called me and I heard her question, and she said, "Would you like to climb Kilimanjaro on a handbike?" And I said, "Oh no, this girl is crazy, you know." And before she called me, and I had other friends with similar ideas, you know. Someone told me we should climb Cayambe, a volcano here in Ecuador. Another friend told me we should paddle to the Amazon. And I guess the idea was all of these friends had this inspiration to do these trips with me, knowing that I was a mountain lover, a lover of that. I love adventures and I love mountain climbing, and that's something that after my accident I thought I was never going to do it again. For some reason I thought, and that's why it was so hard for me to accept that I was not going to be able to walk again. Walking has a lot of things, but one of the things that it was the hardest for me was knowing that I was not going to be able to climb a mountain again, not being able to be out in the outdoors with my friends, enjoying an adventure and an experience, and being at the summit of Kilimanjaro on a handbike. It was something that I thought it was not possible. For sure, I had to convince myself. I had to train very hard, but it was amazing. One of the amazing things had ever happened to me, besides having my girls and just like any climb, you know, being in the mountains. To reach the summit is a big gift that the mountain gives you. But just being there with your friends and sharing so many things is just an amazing experience.
That's the best. So before we get into more details into that sensational accomplishment that you have done, let's start by the sad or the wrong part or the bad part of the story. So you were a professional climber. specialist of the mountain. You study a little bit in Canada at some point. So you were doing pretty well in your job. So can you tell us about what was your life a little bit before 2014 or 2015, right? 2014?
15. Yeah. I decided to take some time off because I wanted to spend time with my family. You know, I didn't want to be mountain guiding. I want to be there with my wife at the time. I want to be with my baby that was just born. So I decided to stop guiding. I didn't want to be away. I didn't want to expose myself to mountain climbing because if you are mountain climbing, if you're mountain guiding, you are exposed to a risk always. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You can control that at some point, but you're always at a risk. So I didn't want to expose too much myself. My second daughter was born, and a week after, I was offered to do a job. It was nothing related to rock climbing or mountain guiding. It was one day. It was 8 hours that I had to be away. I had to do some rope safety at a high rope course.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with these systems that are. A lot of companies use them to do like teamwork, team building.
Okay.
So you have different towers, and each tower is maybe 10, 15 meters high, or 12 meters high.
Like a Via Ferrata? Something like this?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So between each tower, you have a challenge. You might have a rope challenge. You might have a swing or a ferrata that you have to climb, or you have to cross a bridge that is hanging from 12 meters high, you know. For me, it was really fun. You know, it's working. I love the exposure and I love that adrenaline, you know. But for other people, it can be really hard, physically and mentally. It's very, very hard. So part of my job was helping them, dealing with these people and working with the team so they all work together. And the other part of my job was making sure that everybody was doing every challenge very safely with the backup rope and everything. Everybody, with that day, we had 35 people, and they all did all the challenge. Nothing happened like usual. I've probably done this job maybe close to 15, 20 times. Lots of times. So I was very used to it, and that was probably one of my mistakes. And I was the last person that had to get off the system. I had to jump out so I can just to finish close the system and finish the day. I was at top of one tower, 12 meters high, and the last challenge of the way that this works is you have to jump into the void. It's like a big jump. It's like bungee jumping, but very, very short. So you are wearing a harness, you are wearing a helmet, and you are tied into a rope. This climbing rope goes through a belay system, and in the other side, there is a person that belays you. So when you jump, this person acts as a counterbalance, and you don't fall.
Yeah,
exactly. Like climbing. Have you ever rock climbed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so very similar to that. So I went in, I tied myself. I asked my belayer if he had me on belay.
You're good?
And he said no. So okay. I waited a little bit. And then I just heard somebody screaming some affirmation like good, well, got good to go, or something like that. And I didn't confirm. My mistake was that I didn't confirm with my belayer if he was talking to me. Usually when you're climbing, you confirm 3 times with your belayer. So I guess my mistake was that I was used to, I don't know the word in English is confiado. I don't know if you
were lots of
too much confidence.
You have lots of confidence in you when you are trusting the process because you have done it like 15 times. So
exactly, I was too confident. And I just jumped.
And no one was holding the rope.
Nobody was holding the rope.
Oh my God.
And when I started falling, I just heard somebody say no, and I thought, what no? What do you mean no? What are you talking about? And I landed, and it was instant.
Wow.
I didn't feel I was conscious of everything. I didn't feel my legs from that minute. I couldn't even move my arms, or my hands and my arms hurt a lot, so I didn't move them. I knew something bad had happened, but I was hoping that something good, or I was hoping that it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
This happened very close to Quito, maybe 2 hours away. So within 2 hours or 3 at the most, I was at the hospital, and they did a lot of exams, a lot of X-ray, ultrasound, and the doctor said, well, you have an injury in your neck, C7, C6, C5 and C6. Okay. But the good thing is that you don't have how do you say, a cut in your spinal cord.
Okay, it's not broke. Your spinal is not broke.
Exactly, it's not broke. They said, what they call it in Spanish, I don't know if it's the same in English, it's not a full injury.
Okay.
When it's a full injury, the spinal cord has a cut. So they said you only have an inflammation in between C5 and C6, and the spinal cord has swollen, and that's why you cannot move or feel your legs, and that's why you have lost sensation. They said, hopefully with the strong medicine, strong anti-inflammatories, will get rid of this inflammation, and you will be able to feel your legs, and you will recover your movement and your sensation. So I was like, oh, okay, good
news.
Hope. This gives me a lot of hope, and hopefully with time I would recover my movement. Of course, what I wanted to do, it was to be the same person, to be able to climb, to be able to share this love for adventure and love for mountains with my daughters. Mm-hmm. I want to be there. I wanted to take them to the mountains. I wanted to teach them how to climb, how to ride a bike, just to walk with them in the mountains. Lot of personal objectives that I had. I didn't have such a big objectives like climbing K2 without oxygen like Carla, but I wanted to climb in Pakistan for sure. I wanted to climb the Trango Towers. I wanted to climb Yosemite. I wanted to climb in Canada again in the Bogoboos. I had a lot of dreams. So this was my hope, I really hold on to this, and I started training really hard. I spent maybe close to a month in the hospital, and those first 3 weeks in the hospital, I was completely horizontal. I was looking only at the ceiling. I couldn't, I only was able to move my neck a little bit. I had very limited movement in my hands.
Okay.
I depended on doctors and nurses and people to help me to do everything, to eat, to drink. I couldn't hold a glass of water like this. Looks very light. I didn't have the strength in my arm, in my hands.
Yeah.
Because my injury is so high, I am considered a quadriplegic. A paraplegic is a person that doesn't move or feel from the waist down.
Yeah.
A quadriplegic is from the neck down because you don't have movement or sensation in your arms. But my hope was that, and the doctor said, well, you need to do a lot of therapy. And I was like, okay, I just need to
Give it to me.
this exactly. You are an athlete, and okay, I have to train. I'm gonna train hard for the Olympics. I'm gonna train hard to climb my Everest.
Mm-hmm.
I am starting very low. I'm starting at sea level, but I'm gonna train hard for this. So my first training was like to do this, to be able to touch my fingers, very little. And every movement, every little thing, it was an improvement day by day. And I started to gain a lot of my independence. I started to learn how I was able to sit on my bed. At the beginning, I was so weak that I couldn't sit on the bed by myself. I will get dizzy and passed out because my lungs were so weak. And I learned how to transfer into my wheelchair. I learned how to change my clothes by myself. I learned how to go into a shower by myself. At the beginning, I needed two people, my father and somebody else. I learned how to go to the bathroom. It's something very complicated, very difficult, exactly, because you become a baby, but you don't have any control of anything. Sometimes you're wet, sometimes you poo yourself, you start smelling this. Sorry to tell you, but it's what happened.
No, it's real. I mean, it's okay. Don't be sorry. I mean, that's why we are here. We want to share all of that.
It's part of it, I feel I didn't want to go out of my home because I didn't want to shit my pants and be in the middle of nowhere and start thinking. It's a terrible feeling, but then you start learning. You don't control, but you learn a different way of dealing with these situations. You have to learn to recognize your body into a different way.
Okay.
You cannot connect the same way, but you learn different things from your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot feel from my chest down now anyway, but I know what's going on in my body through different signals.
Okay.
And so I started learning a lot about dealing with all of these situations, how to use a wheelchair, how to move around, how can you go into the bathroom by yourself, how can you dress yourself, how to get into a car. And at the beginning, and I laugh because at the beginning, you see everything like impossible, I would see other people in a wheelchair doing a transfer on their own by themselves. I see people on the floor, on the ground, and getting up into a wheelchair. For me, it's like, that's impossible. I'm not going to do that by myself. Never. That's completely impossible. But I guess like a climber or like an athlete or like a person, like anybody, you have to deal with these situations in baby steps. You have to first learn how to sit on the edge of your bed without falling, dealing with that balance, finding the right balance, moving into a wheelchair, knowing that you are going to fall from your wheelchair in different situations. Because if you want to learn the right way, you must fall. You just have to get up somehow. But then the hard moment happened, or the hard one of my hardest moments happened when after a year and a half after my accident, I realized that I wasn't feeling or moving my legs like I expected, or like doctors said that I probably will do. They I know some other people, they have recovered, not 100%, but I wasn't able to move or feel or wiggle my toes or nothing, you know. So then I realized that I was not going to be able to be the same person I was before, you know. And of course, I had to deal a lot with the frustration, a lot of anger, because I wasn't ready to accept that. You know, I had so many things that I wanted to do. I was very sad with a lot of things that I've lost. I lost my profession as a mountain guide, my passion. I lost that opportunity to be that parent that I wanted to be with my two childs, as a husband as well, and just as a person. A lot of things that I wanted to do. You know, I wanted to be free and be able to walk by myself, and if I wanted to walk, I wanted to go that way because I want to walk that way and climb a mountain by myself, or going to a shopping mall and do groceries on my own. That independence and that freedom, I wasn't ready to give up. And I was in a lot of anger with myself, personal anger, and because that mistake that I made. I guess I had the chance to blame my partner, you know. I could still blame him, but it wasn't his fault, or he had probably some amount of responsibility, but it was my responsibility as well. I could say 50-50, or that doesn't really matter. But I was very angry with myself, especially because for so long I was this climber, this mountain guide, that I had to deal with so many dangerous situations. I was a good climber. I was a professional mountain guide. One of probably the best in my country. I don't want to throw flowers at myself, but I just have to recognize. And this mistake, it was so silly, so stupid. I'm sorry for the word, but it was so dumb, you know. And I couldn't. At the beginning, I couldn't forgive myself that I made that mistake, you know. And yeah, and for me, there was no a way that I could deal with this. At the beginning, I was not. I couldn't accept this. I couldn't accept that situation that I was going to live with this, you know.
So this was in 2015. For 2015 until end of 2016, even beginning of 2017, you are hoping that your legs are going to come back. Then you have the diagnosis negative, which is telling you that it's over, like you won't get your legs back, and you have to live with that. So I have lots of questions during that period, because let's talk about the positive stuff. So I want to start with the positive. And
could I just finish one part of this?
Go ahead.
We go into the, now that we're thinking, I want to go into very, very deep. But there are a lot of positive things, and we'll talk about that. But for me, there was not a chance that I could accept it, you know. At some point, I decided, okay, if I'm not going to be able to walk again, I would like to be able to control either when I pee or when I take a dump, you know?
Yeah, basically.
Either one. I'm able to give up my walking or my my bathroom situation, you know, at some time. I will be okay if I don't walk, but if I can go on the bathroom by myself, or either one, you know. But nothing happened, and for me, I couldn't deal with that. At some point, I thought about killing myself. I really thought about committing suicide. I had to accept that, and I know it's a terrible thing. It's hard to talk about it. I thought of different ways that I could do it, but I was so dependent on somebody else that even that I couldn't do it on my own, you know. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so frustrated that it becomes even funny, you know. And of course, if I ask somebody to hang a rope and hang me from there, they are not gonna do it.
Go F yourself. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're gonna say, if you want to do it, you yourself. Or if I have a gun, if I don't have the strength to pull the trigger, if I ask somebody, nobody's gonna help me. But yeah, that's kind of the deepest moment that I got into this. But my light at the end of the tunnel, it was my daughters, my two girls, my family. Um, I couldn't disappoint them. They were fighting for me so hard to go past this situation that to make that stupid decision, it would have been a big disappointment for them.
You know, we don't know much each other, and the first time we talk, you're in your car with your kids in the back, and I'm amazed about the feeling of joy that I had to feel through that little first conversation that we had together. I could feel your daughter happy. You were so happy and available as well. And I say, wow, this guy is amazing. I mean, and I know to be where you are now and where you were on that moment, it must not have been easy before. And it's good that you are sharing those moments, because it's not everyone who is able to talk about suicide, and it's something very, very, very special. I've been through, like, as a coach, in some kind of similar situation with some athletes sometimes. So we have to be there for them and try to help them the best we can. Unfortunately, this is something very, very hard to deal with when you are very, very depressed, when you are going through lots of hard time, you don't find the solution, you start to believe in yourself. And I wanted to talk about the positive aspect of that moment, which I'm probably sure it was the fact that you found so many people around you supporting you. You could not, I'm sure now, you could not still believe that all those people were around you and supporting you. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, it's no, I wouldn't being able to be where I am now. I wouldn't being able to have such an amazing energy and a happy life and a happy smile. I think I can recognize that because I'm happy with now with what I have with this second opportunity that life gave me. To be able to enjoy my daughters and to show them something different as well. And my family and my friends were there at the beginning, and they are there now, and they will be there forever. Mm-hmm. Of course, the two persons that are always right there at the beginning are your parents, and both of my parents, they are just amazing. I'm just surprised how it doesn't matter how old you become, you're always going to be a baby from them, you know. Yeah. they take care of you as if you are 5 years old, 2 years old, doesn't matter, you know.
Do you have a brother or a sister?
I have 4 sisters.
Oh, okay.
I'm so lucky. I have 4 sisters. They are 4 beautiful women. Each of them are just amazing. I love them. I have a special relationship with each of them. They are my friends. They are my companions. They're everything. And no, I'm so lucky, and I have to admit that that the best thing that we have in our lives is our family. And I have an amazing family, and they gave me everything from every moment that this happened, and they were a big support. And I think, like you said, you know, I think and that's something that I always talk about it. And I think all of us, it doesn't matter who you are, all of us have lived something hard in your life, you know. Of course, my situation is obviously, of course, a lot of people that have lived an accident or are in a wheelchair or have lost an arm, a leg, or have lost, maybe sometimes if somebody have lost somebody, it's not that obvious. But if you have lost something physically, it's very obvious. But like you said, I don't know you, but I'm sure that you have lived something really hard. like a lot of your athletes that you have to work and share with. And the important thing of this is to know that there's always somebody next to you that you can share this. And when you share this, and when you and you don't have to expect anything, but just to share with them, you are dealing with this situation, with this frustration, and this, you're breaking this fake or these judgments that you have in your head that cannot help you lead or move forward, you know. Sorry about my English sometimes.
That's fine. That's fine. What you're saying basically is, you are trying to tell me is that you feel the power of the team. You feel the power of sharing is giving more power, because more people coming to with you and share the same sadness or the same struggle or the same desire of life, and you way more energy and way more power to move forward. And that's
totally, yeah,
beautiful.
totally.
It's beautiful. It's a kind of when I talk with Carla, she's just emotional, sharing what she's doing. You know, just sharing it, and because she wants to share. It's those moments when you are living them by yourself, it's beautiful. But when you can share with more people, wow, it takes another dimension. Did you? It's a very kind of a hard question, but I'm going to ask you.
No worries. Ask whatever you want. I don't have any.
All we are talking about now is, you realize how precious is your family, how precious are some of your friends around you, and that they stay and try to encourage you and push you to move forward. Did you, or were you able to realize that before your accident, or now it's way more obvious? And I don't want to say it's a bad thing for a good thing. It's awful stuff to say, but sometimes we need to go through lots of struggle to realize how people love us, or how strong we are. Or did you believe that you are that strength in you? And did you believe that, can you imagine that doing it without all those people? I mean, like, for you, it's you have been through it, but how does that feel after that? When you look at it a few years back and you're trying to look behind you, what do you see?
Yeah. It changed completely in my point of view. Totally. I knew and I know, but before my accident, I knew that I have an amazing family, that I have a special family, because for these times we are a pretty big family. We are, even though my parents are divorced, all of us are very bond. Not just with my sister, my two parents, but also with I have very close aunts that are like my mothers, cousins that are like my brothers and sisters, and we are very close. But before my accident, I can recognize that I'm still a little bit of selfish. At that time, I was a little bit more at that time, because I was, for me, I wasn't selfish, but now that I see back, I can see myself that I was being selfish, because I didn't recognize how important they were for me, my family. But I was so focused on my projects and my climbing and my expeditions and my guiding and my certification. And that's the hard part, you know. You spend so much time away, and when you want to become a professional, when you want to have a degree or a master or a PhD, you sometimes you have to go away to study in another place, and you have to focus. So I was away from my family a lot. I spent a lot of time with my family, and one of the hard things that happened to me, and I tell this story to some people because it's a good reflection that we can make, is that when I became a guide, I started guiding a lot, you know. And my dad, he was a mountain climber. He climbed a few of the volcanoes here in Ecuador, and he asked me to climb a mountain with him. And at that time I said, yeah, for sure, that we have to do that. And every time that I was in the mountains, I thought to myself, I have to climb a mountain with my dad. That's one of my dreams. I want to climb a big mountain with him. I want to reach a summit. I know it's going to be hard for both of us, for him. But I was always postponing that climb. You know, I was always, I was telling my dad, you know, I've been guiding so much, I need to rest, I want to do something else. And I was always postponing because I didn't have time. and at some point I was worried because I knew he was aging and he probably won't be able to do it. But something different happened, and now I'm the one that cannot do it, you know. He's totally fit, he can do it, but I cannot do it. And I regret that so much. I regret that so much that I didn't climb that big mountain with my dad. I didn't share that experience with him. Now we have shared the other things, but that climb we share in a different way. And like that example, sometimes that can happen in our life in different situations, you know. So it's really important to find that balance in our life, that we deal with these priorities that are families to us, you know.
So right. So now you're back on that track with your family, and things are good with them. And 2017 comes, and this crazy project comes to you, and you decide to get ready for the Kilimanjaro, which was for you like impossible to imagine 2 years prior to it, because you are not even able to move your finger, or you are like struggling to get in your bed. And here is that man in 2017 trying to find a way to go to Kilimanjaro. So if you want to talk about that, and that's amazing, it's an amazing story. Like I saw the footage image on you on your wheel, working on with your hands and stuff, like how your biceps finished the climb. How did you, I mean, you feel missing your arm?
My arms almost exploded.
So tell me,
No,
how was the preparation? How did you get ready? How did you get ready to do it? And I think,
well, it was a lot of things got involved in this big dream, in this big project of climbing Kilimanjaro. It took a lot of time to get everything moving, and to get fit, to get strong, to get the money, the resources to make such a big trip. Because it wasn't only me, or it wasn't only 2 people. We had to find the resources for 8 people to come with us. Well, 2 of them pay for their trip, but the rest of the expenses we had to raise the money. So, but first it was very interesting, because I was dealing with this situation, and that's something that it really helped me to deal with. But with my new lifestyle, you know, with my new situation, I didn't want to accept what happened to me. I wanted to kill myself. So I had to accept what happened to me. And when I found out about hand cycling, which is basically a bike that is adapted for people with disability, it's usually at least 3 wheels, or maybe 4, depending on the terrain that you want to deal with. And the first hand bike I tried, it was in Barcelona, in Spain, because I went there to do some therapy. And they were the people, or the doctors, that actually told me that I was not going to be able to walk again. But I had to deal with the situation and find a way to become independent. And one of the really nice things was that they showed me a lot of adapted sports for people with disabilities, which here in Ecuador, we have is very limited. There are maybe, you can play tennis, you can play basketball, maybe rugby, and that's it. There may be a couple other things, but very hard to find out, very hard to try it. So in Barcelona, in this institute, which is called Goodman, I tried snorkeling, diving, I tried kayaking, I tried how do you say when you aim with the arrow?
Archery.
Archery.
Yeah.
I tried archery, and I tried the hand cycling,
okay,
which was a road hand cycling.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, I was like, no, I don't want any road hand cycling. I want to be in the mountains. I want to have an off-road hand cycle and blah blah blah. But I tried the hand cycle and I fell in love. I was like, this is amazing. I can move myself
the feeling of
on
moving.
my own.
Yeah.
I can move long distance. I can go fast. And I can go forever. I felt like I was going forever. So I found one that it was a second hand. I bought one and I started doing some competitions, like my first race was a 15K. Then I did a marathon. I did a couple marathons. I went to Miami and New York, a couple here in Ecuador. And then I tried a half Ironman, but with a team. So I did the bike section, which is 90 kilometers. And every challenge was, I didn't know if I was going to make it, I didn't know if I was ready for 42 or even worse, 90 kilometers. So, but I had to try, I didn't lose anything. And every accomplishment, it was very satisfactory for me. And that really helped me to accept my new lifestyle. Through hand cycling, through this hand bike, I was able to dream again, to realize that I was able to find out a new lifestyle. I was never too much of a competitor, but just to finding out these new challenges, like for me, it was like a summit, a different way of reaching a summit.
Mm-hmm.
And then my friend called, she had this idea of Kilimanjaro. And like, even though it sounded very crazy to me at the beginning, for me to climbing a mountain, it was a dream to come true again,
Ultimate goal.
I'm a climber. I'm a mountain climber. I want to be in the outdoors. I want to feel the cold wind. I want to see the sunrise from as high as you can see it. I want to see these beautiful glaciers, beautiful peaks. And one of the things that I love the most is to share with friends and people. So when she talked about Kilimanjaro in Africa, which I've never been in Africa, it sounds like an amazing idea. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I knew I wanted to do it. So we started doing some research about what involved, which will be the route to climb this. I have a very good friend that works there and he guides, and he actually has the speed record for Kilimanjaro. He did it in like 14 hours. I did it in 6 days. So he gave me a lot of information. And while I was doing this research, I found out that a guide from the States actually climbed Kilimanjaro with a similar injury. He has his injury is way close to his waist, very low. His name is Chris Waddell. He's a professional skier, a para skier, and he climbed Kilimanjaro in 2009. So I contacted him. I told him about my idea, my dream, and but I needed a handbike. I didn't have a handbike to climb. So I asked him if he could sell me his handbike, if I could buy it of him, and he said, no, I will lend it to you. You have to pay for the shipment, and you can use it, and then you will send me back. Beautiful. And I said, sure, awesome. Sounds like an awesome deal. So when the handbike arrived, it was amazing, but very, very hard, very, very, very hard. My first times that I started training, I thought, oh my God, what I'm getting into. And I cannot even climb 100 meters vertical It takes me too long. I'm moving very slow. It's challenge. It's very extreme challenge for me. It's like very physically demanding. Like I will train for one day, maybe for 3 hours, and I will be out the rest of the day. So I was very afraid that I didn't know if I was going to be able to climb Kilimanjaro. At the beginning, we thought about going on 2008, but then I realized that I was not ready. I knew I needed more time, so I started training more. I had to find a way that I can train during the week at my home and then be able to go to work, because I can do everything now. Now I live by myself. I can cook. I can try to cook. I can try to clean my house, but it takes me a lot of time. So if I want to train and work, I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning, do my training in a fixed bike, do a lot of exercise, and during the weekends I would go into the mountains and start doing different accomplishments, like getting to the one of the highest hats here in Ecuador, which is at 5,000 meters in Chimborazo. Trying to go to the hat of Cotopaxi, which is 4,008. The same Cayambe, which is 4,006. And every weekend I will accomplish something different, which was hard, but I was able to do it. I had to spend a lot of time in the altitude because, maybe Carla told you, being in high altitude, it demands physically demanding, way harder if you are at sea level.
We train.
So
we train in altitude as well in swimming, and we experienced that a couple of times. The first week of adaptation is not that easy. The first week is very, very hard when you go train at 3.
So you go to high altitude and swim at that elevation?
We train in altitude. We did training camp a couple of times, 3 weeks, months, in places where you go at I would say 2,000 meters, 2,000 something, and it's good for the training for lots of physiological reasons. You have some good results 4, 5, 6 weeks after, but it's hard. It's never easy. The first week
it's hard, yeah,
very, very hard,
and it's dangerous as well. You can get a pulmonary edema at 2,000 meters. You can get sick. You can Quito is at 2008, and I've known people that had pulmonary edema, have been in the hospital. While I was guiding, a very important part of the expedition, it doesn't matter if you are, sorry that I said, it doesn't matter if you are an Olympic athlete, but if you come to the altitude, it works very different on every person, I've known clients that are like ultra marathon runners. They have run 2 marathons or 3 marathons on a road, but they come into altitude and they are nothing, Altitude kicks you a different way, a different, I don't know, it's a lot of different things that are involved into
very, very
getting used to it. Yeah. So that was a very important part of my training to go to Kilimanjaro. The second hard situation was dealing with the money, with the resources to go into there, with the sponsors. We had a lot of people wanted to support the project, but we needed a lot of money. A lot of people wanted to give us I don't know, clothing or products, and we found a way to get airplane tickets and some food and equipment that we needed. But the most expensive part was paying for the trip into Africa. It's such a long trip to get there, and you are hiring a lot of people, so it's very expensive. But we found a way. We have two very good sponsors. Which one is Chevy, the brand for the cars, and Movistar, which is the brand for cell phones lines and stuff, that kind of stuff. And we also had to use some of our personal money. And yeah, going into Africa, it was it was amazing. You know, it's such a big experience. A very long trip. We 3 days to get there. We arrived into it's actually called Marangu town, which is Kilimanjaro has maybe I think 8 different climbing routes. You know, you can climb 8 different routes to get to the summit. The oldest route and not the easiest, but the only route that has climbing huts is the Marangu route, which is also known as the Coca-Cola route because it's the most popular route. Maybe most of the climbers that go through Marangu, through Kilimanjaro, go through Marangu. And the good thing are the huts. You have 3 different climbing huts. Very comfortable with a bathroom, with toilets. You have bunk beds for your sleeping bag. So for me, this was the only option. I had to go through this. To climb, you start the climb of Kilimanjaro at 1,800 meters. So you have to climb 4,000 vertical meters to reach the summit. And the distance is 37 kilometers. So you climb around 1,000 meters each day. I had to take two different handbikes. One of them was one of the handbikes. We'll find pictures for this so you can show them. But one of the handbikes has 4 wheels, and it's the same handbike that Chris used. And the other handbike I took was a handbike that we made here in Ecuador, which is, it only has 3 wheels. You go into a different position. I'm like sitting on the handbike. My legs go in the front like this, and I'm just pedaling like this.
Okay.
The traction is in the front. It's very, very comfortable. But the only problem is that when you go into technical terrain, or when it's too steep, it's very hard. So it's not good for this. It's very good for not too steep terrain and not too technical.
Did you fall a lot?
Sorry?
Did you fall a lot? Did you fall down?
No, not too much. It's, going up is very hard to fall. Coming down is very easy.
Okay.
So, and the other handbike, the one that has 4 wheels, I actually call that the monster. It's a monster because you can climb everything with that. It's very heavy. You go into a different position, like I will go back so you can see me, but I will find pictures. Yeah. But you kneel yourself and you go like this. You lean into there is like a chest strap that holds there, yeah, and you pedal this way. And the traction of this handbike is in the back, and the wheels. I'm sitting right on the wheels, so my weight is right on the traction, which is really good. And this bike is amazing. You can also almost climb vertically, but it's very, very, very hard. It's like I don't know, for some reason, breathing is very hard because you are laying on top of your chest. The power that you use on your arms is more challenging. So it's very, very hard.
So how much weight? How much weight is that?
It's very heavy, very, very heavy. Weights close to 25 kilos.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah. So imagine
it's not a carbon bike.
No, it's steel. It's the heaviest element in the world.
The monster.
Yeah, the monster. Yeah, exactly. And So imagine 25 kilos plus myself, which is 75, is over 100, a little bit over with the weight, the gear and stuff. And you have to move 100 kilos with these arms, with these tiny arms. So it's very hard. And you know what happened to us on the first day? On the first section, I used the other bike. Actually, the other bike is called La Diabla, like the devil. And I used the Diabla for half a day. And when we got into the technical terrain, I switched into the Monster and I started climbing on the Monster. Because the terrain was going through a forest, there were roots, there were big rock steps. So I had to use the Monster, doesn't matter what happened. After an hour that I was climbing on the Monster, I was pedaling like this. I realized that the front axle of the Monster, it broke the first day. It broke and the tires came apart of the Monster. And I was like, oh, wait. The Monster broke. I cannot climb anymore.
Problem.
Oh, the first day I was like, oh, what are we gonna do? First day of an 8-day expedition. My trip is over. My dream is over. Luckily, actually, it was the first day because we were close to town. So 2 of my teammates had to carry or to go down. And the good thing that because it was steel, they were able to weld it again, you know? Because if it was fiber carbon, I was
dead.
Finished. Thank you for coming. So the last section, we were probably, I think, 3 kilometers away from the hut. And I had to be carried by the porters. 4 porters carry me through this very rough terrain. And local people, local guides, local porters that were there. They are very strong people, but I'm very heavy, you know. So I ended up arriving to the hut. That same night, my teammates arrived back with the Monster. They arrived maybe at 8 o'clock at night. They had to go down, take a car, go into town, fix the Monster, weld it, and climb back again and run back to the hut with carrying the Monster, you know. So it was crazy. I was so happy to see them the same day. And actually, one of them that went down, it was my girlfriend, and I was so happy that she came back with my good friend Jack. The next day, I knew that we knew it was a really long day. So we started very, very early. It was close to 12 kilometers and 1,000 meters of elevation. So I started 5 in the morning. It was a very long day. It took me 12 hours to arrive to camp. Even though at one point I realized I was going so slow that I couldn't do it on my own, you know. I realized after 3 hours of really hard climb and to do everything, to give all my powers, I realized that I only moved 700 meters. And it was so frustrated because I was away 12 kilometers away from the hut. I was not gonna make it on time. So we make this decision. I asked my team to help me, to pull me or to push me on maybe 80% of the terrain because it was too rocky, very steep, and the rocks were the problem. Like there were big rocks, huge rocks.
Yeah.
So that day we arrived that night we arrived to the second hut. We had a rest day, and then the day after, we went into the last hut, which is Kibo Hut at 4,700 meters. So a little bit over 1,000 meters away from the summit. We could see the summit. Well, 2 days ago, we were able to see the summit, but we were right below the summit, you know. But at this point, it got really, really steep. The terrain was very loose, a lot of sand, a lot of rocks still, very, very steep. So we made a high camp. Usually people climb to the summit from Kibo Hut, from the last hut we were, into the summit. But we had to make a high camp. We had to dig a platform.
Yeah.
We put a tent, and me, Carla, and Jack, we slept there for the night, so we can break that the summit day into two days. You know, it was an amazing time to spend there with Carla, to hear her climbing stories about everything, you know, about Everest, about Aconcagua.
Yeah, because that year she's with you, she just has done the K2 and the Everest. So
yeah, she just came back.
Sharing that with you, which is crazy too. She's doing those 2 summits in the year and then doing this, which is insane to me.
Yeah. She thought she was coming into a vacation, you know. But when she had to start pulling me and pushing, vacations were over.
So that's last part of climbing, and that part getting to the summit. If I recall well, you didn't climb or didn't go to any mountain from 2015, I would say right before your accident, until 2019. So almost 4 years without climbing. Tell me about that when you get there, when you get to that summit. I mean, talk about that feeling and that joy and that emotion going through you, please.
Well, it was so amazing, and it was so I was so happy, especially because a couple hours before that, before I was able to reach the summit, I got very frustrated again. I thought about quitting. I thought about I probably thought that we were not going to be able to make it, because I was moving so slow, and we were so far from the summit that at one point I got so frustrated and thought this was not going to be able to become true, you know. My girlfriend realized, she saw in my face that I was so frustrated, and well, she asked me, what's happening? What do you need? What do you want? Especially because I had a team of 15 people looking after me, and I could ask them whatever I want. You know, I can ask them for food, for glove, for massage. I could ask them to carry me. I could ask them whatever, and they were going to do everything I asked them, you know. But the only thing I wanted, it was, I really, and this happened a couple of months. It didn't happen to me for a while. After my accident, this happened, but I stopped feeling this until this moment. And the only thing that I really wanted it was I wanted to walk. I wanted to walk again. I wanted to move again by myself. I wanted to move fast. I wanted to move in this terrain, this technical terrain, that for me, it was natural, you know. I didn't need 15 people to move. I was able to move on my own. So I was very frustrated. And Andrea told me, well, we cannot make you walk, but we can be your legs. All of the teammates that are here with you, we will be your legs, and we walk with you together to reach that summit. And for me, that was amazing. You know, those words were exactly right on. That really meant teamwork for me. That really meant telling my team, okay, you need to push me more. I need to You need to pull me more. I need to work harder, but we want to work together. Even though we were doing it, we have been doing it for 5 days, you know, or for 2 years. But at this moment, I really needed to let myself be helped. I don't know if this makes sense in English.
Yeah.
And and it's so amazing because when you realize that you can help somebody, or when you realize that other person can help you, and you are willing to ask for this help, this is real, or this is true teamwork, you know. And so we were 100 meters away from the summit. All my teammates went. They left me alone. They said, okay, we are here. We can see the summit. You can see that this big sign that I have been seeing it, and I have been mentalizing. I have been visualizing myself there. And I started pedaling, and I just started crying of joy, you know. I can see my team there. They were screaming, they were crying because they were so happy. The porters and the local guides, they were singing some African songs, Hakuna Matata, which is actually a song from Tanzania. And I was just so happy pedaling, and even though I was moving so slow. And to be honest, the first thing I felt when I was there, it was so much gratitude with my team. So much gratitude with all the people that helped me accomplish this big dream. With Gisela, with my parents, with my friends, with my team was there, especially with my girlfriend that helped me train so much. And being there, I could see their faces, look them in the eye and tell them, thank you for helping me. Thank you for becoming my dream, to my dream become true, you know?
Yeah.
And when I said thank you to them, I could see at the same time that all that hard work, it had a really strong meaning for them, you know? And it was just amazing.
I was truly and purely happy for you. Truly and purely happy for you. You could see that.
Happy for me, and happy for them from what they have done. Because at some point, my dream of climbing a mountain, of climbing Kilimanjaro, it became the other people's dream as well, you know?
Yeah.
So
big goal for everyone.
Exactly, you know, it's like
with you as a leader. With you as a leader.
Well, yeah, I was probably the leader that motivate them, inspire them. I was not telling them what, I was not 100% telling them what to do, but it was really like holding their hand and going for it, you know, working as a team. I was not going to be able to do it without them, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can see, I think everybody has a Kilimanjaro in their mind. Everybody has a dream to go to the Olympics, or everybody has a K2, or everybody has a university or a degree. And to think that you can do it on your own is pretty crazy, you know. We are not superheroes, you know. We are not superheroes.
We are not where we are by ourselves. We always had some support, and we use the right support sometimes. That's for sure. So finishing this with all that team, and we share some of the picture and share some of the video with everyone. But finishing this led you for sure to some other project, which is bringing the end of our discussion, where I'd like to know, doing that in 2019, we are 2020 now in July, and what are the next goal and next crazy Carrasco wants to do?
It's crazy, you know, because, and I think like you, like Carla, it's hard to stop, you know. It's while I was climbing for Kilimanjaro, I only thought about going to a beach to relax, to be by the sun and drink a couple of beers, have a long vacations. But as soon as we went down from the summit, as soon as I was at the hut, I was thinking in another climb, you know. This opened my I opened a new wall, a new door, a new window, a new
new
path for new challenges, for new climbs, and I realized that with this team support, with this motivation and inspiration to other people, I can reach other big things, and of course, one of the big things that I want to do is to climb one of those mountains that I climbed and I guide for so long, for so many years, and are a couple of volcanoes here in Ecuador. I think, and I'm trying to, not that I'm trying to prove anything to anybody, but I think anything is possible. Some things are harder to others, but I think the most accessible climb for me now, it would be Cayambe. Cayambe is 5,790 meters, but the thing about Cayambe is that it has a long glacier, a big glacier, you know. There are a few sections that are as steep or steeper than Kilimanjaro, but I think it's doable. We can break that into maybe 4 days climb, which is usually 1 day. But that's a big motivation for me. I think I want to try that maybe at the end of this year, maybe November, December. My only problem now is that I have to send the monster back to Chris. It's his bike and he wants to back. There's another person interested to climb to use it, so I have to send it back. So I have to make a new bike that I can use for these climbs. That will be my only struggle now. Yeah. I know I've been training. I'm still training. I have to get used to altitude again. I have talked to some climbing friends, and we talk about it, the logistics, and they're very motivated. So I'm very happy for that. And besides Cayambe, I think I also want to do some kind of a long traverse, you know, maybe through in Bolivia or in Peru, something more like a long distance traverse. Maybe if I need an assistant bike, or maybe I can use dogs. I have been watching dog sledding and dog mushing, how they call them, and I think I could use dogs, so I will still have to work hard, you know, but instead of doing 2 kilometers a day, maybe I can do 10 with the same power, you know. So that will be fun. I think those are my two big projects. My other project also is I was trying to make a foundation here in Ecuador for people with disabilities. And the objective of the foundation was to promote adaptive sports for people with disabilities, to have hand bikes or different adaptive sports so people can try them. I think sports is very important for everybody, as you know, but for people with disability, it gives us more movement, more freedom. It's a different way of move, so it's very important. So I'm still working on that. I really hope more people can enjoy the nature through some kind of sport. It can be hand bike, it can be kayaking, it can be diving, it can be paragliding. There are a lot of options. The only problem is that
for you, it just started when you realized you realized that you were free again when you were on that bike in Barcelona, you know, so you know how much it inspires you and you want to pass that on, you know, that's for sure. It's beautiful.
Exactly. It's totally, I think once you have an accident and you realize you're going to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair, you kind of resignate is that a word in English?
Yeah. You don't want to give up. That's it. You cannot give up.
Well, or you don't give up, but you say, okay, well, I'm in a wheelchair. I won't be able to climb a mountain again. You know, at some point I was thinking that. At some point I was thinking that I was not going to be able to be back in a mountain. And you don't give up, but you resignate that maybe you can find other things. And through sports, I think people can really find other objectives and other goals for sure. It's just a matter of finding this handbike, you know, and this is for everybody. It's, for me, it was a handbike. For another person, can be art.
Yes, yeah. So now you are 38 years old, and all that story behind you. If you had to, if you have to give one advice to a young climber today, what would it be? With your story and your knowledge, what would you give to those people, to these people?
Direct to a climber or to everybody? I think,
let's say to everybody. It's even better because everybody can climb, everybody can do sports at their level. So let's inspire everyone. Let's go.
I think everything is here, you know. The only barriers are here in our head. The only disability is here in our head. I'm a person in a wheelchair now. I cannot walk, but I can fly. I am pretty sure I can fly to so many places if I focus into that. It's just a matter of having a good objective, a good decision, a good attitude to do it. And I think even though at the beginning this Kilimanjaro looks so impossible, so hard, and even though it takes you 2 or 4 years or 20 years, it's just a matter of making baby steps so you are able to be ready and that you are able to have everything ready so you can reach that big Kilimanjaro. If you told me 5 years ago while I was on the hospital that I was going to climb Kilimanjaro, I wouldn't believe you know, for sure. I would laugh at you. I will probably get very angry because you were being kind of sarcastic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But time goes by and little things happen.
Monsieur Carrasco, Senior ZUKO Carrasco, it was an honor for me. I have to say, it's such a blessing to meet you guys again. Thanks Carla, because without Carla, there is no, there's no Sebastian on my show. So I'm very, very happy. I'm so happy to discover and to get to share that world to other people, because I didn't know much about mountain and those kind of competition and sports before Carla, before I watched all those documentaries, and now I'm into it and I'm happy. Then I'm going to be able to share. And you are such an amazing and humble person that's, you know, like, I hope this is going to inspire more people, and it could help as well some of your people as well in Ecuador. I'm going to work on the subtitle in Spanish, try to make it accessible
for everybody. You know, I think is like Carla, I think sharing this with people is because if you don't share it, and every time that I talk about it, I really get excited and get really, really happy. And the only way to live again those moments is to remember. And I'm very happy. Thank you so much, Craig, for having this moment for me, this episode on your channel. I will be very happy to.
You are giving me goosebumps, man. Yeah, you have no idea. This is amazing, and I'm so happy that I'm doing what I'm doing right now, because I'm going through and meeting so many people, hearing so many crazy and good stories.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, it's so fun and so inspiring to hear these stories.
But I have to tell that when I called you, and like when I call Carla, I'm I'm the smaller person, so I feel like, okay, I'm gonna try to get these people. I don't know them, and I gotta ask them. And I'm coming like very gently, and okay, this is what I'm doing. Would you mind if? And you were like, okay, no problem. What do you want to do? It's like the same. And I find that, oh wow, they want to give, they want to share so much, and this is beautiful.
Of course, totally. No, it's that's I think that's my. I think part of sharing and part of being of enjoying this moment of sharing with everybody is a responsibility. You know, I think if I and I call that in Spanish la magia de la silla.
La magia de la silla.
La magia de la silla. The magic of this wheelchair, because to be able to motivate and to be able to inspire people to enjoy life and to go out and dream big, I think for me is it gives a sense to all my life, you know, and it makes me very happy.
This is beautiful. Thank you, Sebastian. This was All the Talk episode 16, episode 16.
16, wow.
Hablo español también, pero no practico mucho. Y
hablas bien.
Pues
bien.
Es seguro para mí con los idiomas. Se necesita para mí de practicar mucho. So thank you very much. Thank you, Sebastian. It was a pleasure. Please don't forget the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget the thumbs up or the thumbs down if you want to. It's a free world. Thanks again, and I meet you in the next episode. Thanks again, Señor Carrasco.
Thanks to you, Craig. Thanks to you, and be here every time for you when you need me.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you, Craig.